I've seen the same thing happen over and over. Someone grabs a cheap, fold-away leg press off a marketplace, sets it up in the garage, and a week later they're Googling, "Why does my leg press wobble?" The regret is real, and it usually comes from trying to save a few bucks on a machine that can't actually handle the loads you eventually want to throw at it. That's why I wanted to dig a little deeper before I even considered the RitFit Gazelle Pro 3-in-1 leg press and hack squat. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first heard about a 3-in-1 piece of equipment that promises a leg press, hack squat, and even a pull-up band in one frame, my instinct was to ask, will it actually replace a full-size gym machine, or am I just swapping one set of compromises for another? The hesitation is understandable. Home gym gear lives in a tight spot between performance and practicality, and you don't want to end up with a monster that hogs the whole room but only delivers a half-hearted workout. The biggest risk is buying something that looks impressive on paper but turns out to be a clunky, noisy obstacle that you hide behind a couch. Let's talk about the category first. Leg press and hack squat machines are traditionally built as separate, heavy-duty stations in commercial gyms. Their main selling point is the ability to load massive weight without compromising the smoothness of the motion. When you bring that into a home setting, you have to consider ceiling height, floor space, and how you'll actually load the plates. The Gazelle Pro tries to solve those issues by merging two classic movements into one steel frame and by giving you built-in storage for the rubber plates that come with it. The frame itself is High-Tensile steel, rated for a whopping 2,000 pounds capacity. In real life, that means you can comfortably load 300 pounds on each side for a solid hack squat and still have room to grow as you progress. Most entry-level home machines top out at 2001, 500 lb, so the capacity alone positions this as a serious contender for anyone who plans to stay consistent for years. The adjustable angles are another practical win. For hack squats you get 4 different tilt positions, and for the leg press 3. I've tried the same machine in my friend's garage where his ceiling is only 8 feet high, and the ability to lower the seat angle made a huge difference. It allowed him to keep his hips in a safe range while still loading the plates he wanted to use. The same flexibility is useful if you have multiple people training on the same equipment. Your spouse might feel more comfortable at a shallower angle, while your teenage son prefers a deeper squat position. That kind of adaptability is often missing from budget models that lock you into a single fixed angle. Now, the practical strengths. First, the integrated weight storage. The steel frame has dedicated slots where the included 35 pounds rubber plates nest neatly, so you're not dragging heavy metal around the room every time you switch exercises. In a small basement gym, that reduces clutter and keeps the floor from turning into a minefield of loose plates. Second, the dual-function design cuts down on the overall footprint compared to buying a separate leg press and a separate hack squat sled. If you've got a dedicated workout corner, you'll likely fit this in a 68-foot area, which is reasonable for most home gyms. The third strength is the smoothness of the motion. The machine uses a linear guide system that, according to the spec sheet, reduces friction. In practice, when you load it up and push through a set of 10 reps, the sled glides with a steady, predictable resistance. There's no jerking or sudden stops, which is especially important if you're doing higher rep endurance work. The rubber plates also help dampen the noise, so you won't be waking up the whole house when you finish a heavy set. No piece of equipment is perfect, and the Gazelle Pro has its hidden trade-offs. The biggest one is size. Even though it consolidates 2 machines, the overall footprint is still larger than a typical folding leg press you might see on a budget site. You'll need a solid, level floor and enough clearance for the back leg travel. If you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, this could be a deal-breaker. Assembly is another factor. The frame arrives in separate packages for shipping protection, which means you'll spend a few hours bolting together the main uprights, attaching the sled rails, and installing the plate storage. The instructions are clear, but you'll definitely need a friend or a good set of tools. I'd recommend setting it up on a concrete slab or a sturdy wooden platform. The machine's weight alone can flex.